everyone! Have you ever wondered how hackers seem to know so much about a company or system before even attempting an attack, or how ethical hackers can safely assess security without causing any harm? This initial phase is called reconnaissance, or footprinting, and it's the very first step in ethical hacking. Reconnaissance is all about collecting as much information as possible to build a complete picture of the target environment. Think of it as mapping the battlefield before stepping into it. Welcome to Bluehat Cybersec Academy. Today, we're diving deep into reconnaissance. We'll explore how to think like a hacker while staying completely within legal boundaries. You'll learn the difference between passive and active recon, how to map domains, subdomains, and IPs, perform social media and employee footprinting, analyze metadata, and even do Google dorking to discover hidden information. We'll highlight practical techniques, step-by-step approaches, and real-world examples so you can understand both the how and the why behind each action. Understanding reconnaissance. Reconnaissance is essentially about collecting intelligence before touching or interacting with a system. It's like a detective gathering clues before entering a scene. The better your reconnaissance, the more efficient and effective the subsequent penetration tests will be. In practice, it often accounts for almost half of a full ethical hacking engagement, because knowing your target's environment and potential weak points is critical to identifying vulnerabilities. Passive versus active reconnaissance. Reconnaissance can be broadly divided into passive and active techniques. Passive reconnaissance is about observing from a distance without alerting the target. You do not touch their systems, so it leaves no trace. In contrast, active reconnaissance involves direct interaction with systems, which can leave footprints in logs, so it should always be done with permission. Passive recon in action. In passive recon, ethical hackers rely on publicly available information. This can include WAS databases to see who owns a domain, DNS records to map infrastructure, or simply browsing a company's website to understand its structure. Social media is another goldmine. Employees might post work-related content, reveal tools they use, or even mention internal processes. Even job postings can give insights into technology stacks and security controls. For example, a posting looking for AWS security engineer can indicate that the company uses AWS, which may help you understand their cloud infrastructure in a testing environment. So, active reconnaissance, on the other hand, involves actually interacting with the target system. This could include things like scanning networks for open ports, identifying running services, or discovering software versions. Tools like Nmap, for example, allow pentesters to map network ports, while Netcat can be used for probing specific services. Traceroute is another handy tool that helps you understand network paths and identify intermediate devices. But, it's really important to remember that active recon should only be performed with explicit permission. Doing it without consent is illegal. Active recon provides much deeper insight than passive methods alone. For instance, by identifying outdated software on a server, an ethical hacker can report it as a vulnerability without ever exploiting it. In real-world scenarios, these small findings help organizations fix security gaps before an attacker can abuse them. Once you understand the recon type, the next step is mapping domains, subdomains, and IP addresses. Domains provide useful metadata, like registration dates, registrar info, contact emails, and sometimes even a few hints about the company's infrastructure. Sometimes older domains might rely on legacy systems, which can easily be overlooked during security audits. Subdomains are interesting because they often hide staging environments, development portals, or VPN endpoints. Tools like DNS enumeration, certificate transparency logs, and even Google searches can reveal these subdomains. For example, something like dev.company.com or staging.company.com might still be accessible online and could be outdated or misconfigured. Even archived versions of websites on the Wayback Machine can expose forgotten assets. IP footprinting is equally important. It helps you identify hosting providers, physical locations of servers, and associated domains. Reverse IP lookups can reveal multiple domains on the same server, potentially exposing shared vulnerabilities. So, a comprehensive domain and IP map allows pentesters to understand the organization's network structure without ever touching production systems. Humans are often the weakest link in cybersecurity. Employees might unintentionally reveal sensitive information through social media posts, online forums, or personal blogs. Ethical hackers can leverage this information in controlled environments to test the effectiveness of an organization's security awareness. Searching for employees on LinkedIn, for example, can reveal organizational structure, job roles, or technology responsibilities. Understanding email formats helps a lot when simulating phishing attacks in a legal context. Cross-referencing this data with publicly available breach databases can show whether old credentials or leaked accounts exist. All these techniques help organizations identify risks before malicious hackers can exploit them. So, metadata is the hidden information that's embedded in files like PDFs, Word documents, and even images. It might include things like author names, usernames, system paths, or software versions. Analyzing this metadata actually helps ethical hackers learn about internal workflows. And the cool part is, they can do this without ever interacting with the servers directly. Now, Google dorking is another advanced reconnaissance technique. By crafting specific search queries, pentesters can locate publicly accessible files, directories, or sometimes even sensitive content. Advanced search techniques really let you uncover documents, directories, or admin portals that anyone can access. So, by carefully crafting your search queries, you might identify files or web pages that were unintentionally exposed. Just remember, these methods are totally legal when you're working with publicly available content, and they provide valuable insight into misconfigurations that need to be fixed. A typical recon workflow, especially for beginners, usually starts with passive reconnaissance. You want to collect as much public information as possible, map out domains and subdomains, identify IP ranges, and, analyze social and employee footprints. After that, it's important to inspect metadata from public documents and then move on to active reconnaissance, but only if you have permission. And finally, make sure you document all your findings carefully. This structured approach honestly ensures that no information is missed, and it builds a really strong foundation for the later stages of penetration testing. So here are the key takeaways. The main lessons from reconnaissance are clear. Passive recon is stealthy. Active recon is interactive. Forgotten subdomains and legacy systems often hide vulnerabilities. Employees may unintentionally leak information. And, metadata and Google dorking can uncover hidden exposures. Also, thorough documentation is absolutely critical for reporting and making sure that ethical hacking activities lead to actionable results. All right, let's put your knowledge to the test. Can you answer, what's the difference between passive and active reconnaissance? Can you name 2 safe ways to perform employee footprinting? And what information can metadata reveal in documents? Try mapping subdomains in a lab environment or analyzing sample files, then share your results in the comments. Also, feel free to suggest topics for the next video. Should we explore exploitation, advanced social engineering, or maybe threat analysis? Just remember, reconnaissance isn't about hacking right away. It's about building a clear picture of your target. The more comprehensive your reconnaissance, honestly, the more effective your ethical hacking becomes. Thanks for watching. If this video added value to your day, give it a like, share it with someone who could benefit, and subscribe for more practical cybersecurity content. Drop a comment. We'd love to hear how you're applying these techniques in a controlled environment. Stay curious, stay secure, and keep building networks that actually work.